Am I the butthole for refusing to return my late wife's ring to the family? Throwaway account is the family are on Reddit, but I really need help. I am so frustrated and confused right now. I, female, 30, married my wife, female, 36, a year ago. We had been together 6 years, married for one before she passed away. It has been a really rocky time for me, and I am still struggling but getting there, day by day. My wife had been close with her grandmother when she was growing up, and when she passed away her grandmother left a beautiful ring which had been in the family for generations. My wife used this ring to propose to me, and it also became my wedding ring. I have worn it every day since she gave it to me, and it is truly my most precious item from her. It feels like she is with me always, and when I look at it, it brings my heart some happiness to remember our time together. My wife even spent money on the ring to get it restored, as it had a few cosmetic faults, but by doing this it more or less doubled the value too. It is unique and shaped like a snake with a diamond in its head and rubies for the eyes. The diamond was cracked and the blue enamel needed repairing, which she did before proposing. My brother-in-law has now decided to propose to his girlfriend, and he wants to use the snake ring as their grandmother wanted the ring to be used as an engagement ring for when one of her grandchildren wanted to marry, a first-come first-served situation, although it was never really expected her granddaughter would be doing the proposing. It was always assumed the boys would offer it to their GFS, but my wife got there and did it first, and that was that. It was never really questioned either, as my wife, and she had been so close to. Nobody had any objections at the time, as the ring was still within the family and neither of my bills were anywhere near getting engaged. I refused to give the ring back, and now I have caused a huge rift with my family-in-law. My mother-in-law and Bills are all calling me a butthole, as they want the ring to continue being part of their family and to be passed down in the generations as it was expected to. I am distraught. My wife and I were not big sentimental gift givers, and this is honestly the only thing she was truly proud to gift me. It was a huge deal for us and meant the world to both of us. My family-in-law have also thrown in my face that the grandmother wouldn't even have wanted me to have it since she was Russian and would very much be against a same-sex couple. This really hurts and feels like a low blow, as although it's definitely true I was accepted by my family-in-law. The grandmother had long been gone before I met my wife. They are now saying that it should go to the boys as she intended. It's all got really nasty and I just don't know what to do. The family have even offered to buy the ring off me for the full value of the ring with the repairs, but I refuse. It is the only thing I have of my wife, and parting with it feels like the only piece I have left of my broken heart being taken away. Am I the butthole? Edit. Oh my, I wasn't expecting such a huge response from this, and I wanted to thank everyone for your replies. I'm working through them. I just wanted to give you all a bit more information based on some of your comments. My wife and I did not have children. Grandma definitely wouldn't have accepted the relationship. She was very old-fashioned, shall we say. There are lots of comments about leaving the ring in my will, which I think is a great idea. I hadn't been able to think clearly since this all happened, because I felt stricken with grief again after the shock of being asked. I am going to speak with mother-in-law and brother-in-law ASAP and see if I can offer the ring to brother-in-law's future children in my will. I don't want to part the family from the ring, but I don't want to part with it in my lifetime, so I'm hoping this can be resolved. I will post an update as soon as I have spoken to everyone. For those who have mentioned giving it up if I remarry, I couldn't possibly answer this question at this point in time. My grief is blinding. To think about loving anybody else in this world feels absolutely impossible. Not the butthole. I'm sorry for your loss and this additional pain on top of it. Widows aren't usually expected to return their wedding ring. Edit. Wow. Thank you for the awards. Original poster replies. Thank you, this helps. I would tell them that if they can be decent, civil people to you, a person who was a member of their family for 6 years, you are willing to leave the ring to a family member someday in your will, thus it will return to the family when you are done with it. But if they continue to be entitled buttholes and disrespecting your partner's memory, they will never see it again. You are undoubtedly the rightful owner of the ring. They are being homophobic and just effing awful. I'm so sorry for your loss, and that they are treating you like this. Not the butthole. ETA, holy crow, thanks for the awards and upvotes. Of course it would destroy any chance of civility to say so, but Christ, their daughter would be so effing ashamed of them. That should be more than enough to invalidate the dead grandma was a homophobe argument. Grandma gave her granddaughter a ring ostensibly designed for a woman's hand. I feel like this whole family are pulling that thing where they assume old people are universally stupid and conservative when they really aren't, often the latter, perhaps, but come on. I'd bet that original poster's wife came out to Grandma first, or Grandma picked it up because old people know things, and Grandma was just hush-hush about it except for giving her the ring. Maybe she knew the rest of the family high-key suck and figured it was her little way of offering perpetual support even after she was gone. All that to say, you keep that ring, original poster. Grandma gave her granddaughter a ring ostensibly designed for a woman's hand. That's not what happened. Original poster said grandmother was long gone before original poster and her late wife got together. The ring was a first come, first served type of thing, and original poster's late wife was the first grandchild to get married, so she claimed the ring and proposed with it. Original poster is still very much not the butthole, of course, and there is no need to her to even consider giving back her ring. Exactly. What's to stop brother-in-law's wife from keeping the ring if they get divorced, or he dies? This was a ring in contemplation of marriage and you got married, the ring is yours. No amount of jealousy or homophobia changes the facts. Not the butthole. And people act like there weren't gay people before. I bet late grandma might have even known a few. It's not like there were no homosexuals before 1950 or something, people just had to keep it a secret. They were just lifelong bachelors with roommates. Everyone knows homosexuality was invented in the 70s by the communists to destroy America from within. Original poster replies. Grandma definitely hated the gays, she wouldn't have wanted the ring to go to me in all honesty. This had been my thought when reading through it. Especially since original poster doesn't mention having a child with her wife. The ring follows the expectation of first come first served engagement and then can continue to pass down the grandmother's family line. But for the family to ask for it now? Jesus Christ. An engagement ring isn't hot potato. Original poster replies. We didn't have children, I hadn't even thought about leaving the ring in my will for one of the Bill's future children, it seems like a good solution. If I were brother-in-law's girlfriend I wouldn't want it with that backstory. Absolutely. If my husband had proposed to me with a family ring he had taken from his sibling's widow, against her will, I would not only refuse to accept the ring, I would seriously have considered throwing out the whole man. And it's a super unique ring, so girlfriend is going to know. Not the butthole. It is your ring. Not theirs. The moment your wife gave it to you, any rights they had to it disappeared. A widow is not expected to return the ring, and that's what you are. Especially with the homophobic comments, I'd tell them to beat it. Your wife would be ashamed to see them acting so horrifically. Original poster replies. She would be completely mortified, and I told them that too, which didn't go down very well. I can imagine it didn't, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't have been said. They're disrespecting her by treating you so badly, and frankly that's disgusting behavior. I'm livid for you. Brother-in-law and his fiancée must be real pieces of work if they pursue this. Imagine proudly wearing a ring that you obtained via homophobic bullying of your dead sister's grieving effing widow. I normally encourage being conciliatory when everyone involved is messed up and grieving, but Jesus Christ, does that really not bother them? I would send a text to this fiancée to be letting her know what's going on over this ring, because it's entirely possible she doesn't know if it's supposed to be a surprise. It might totally make things worse overall, but I would be mortified if someone proposed to me with their dead sister's widow's ring that they demanded back. I have no doubt that this ring will eventually make its way back to the family. It wouldn't be unreasonable for the family to ask that it be left to them in her will, but I can't imagine claiming ownership of someone's engagement ring. Not the butthole. The family-in-law turned into a TA by their low blow attack, even if it was true. I would keep the ring for now and give the ring, when you are ready, to the children or grandchildren of the in-laws. Came here to say just that. It is your ring until you die or you choose to remarry. Tell the family it is your wedding ring and provide them legal documents stating in the event of your death or remarriage the ring will be returned until said time. The ring was a gift and sign of commitment to your deceased wife, and you will wear it as a representation of your marriage and love for one another. Original poster is not obligated in any way to return the ring even if they remarry. She is not obligated to return the ring at all. But she should, morally. It has ancestral history to her in-laws and should be bequeathed to a nibbling upon her death. Not the butthole. Maybe offer to leave it to the family in your will so it goes back to them. But your wife gave you it, it's yours, you don't need to do anything and your brother-in-law can get his own ring. Don't let them guilt you into anything, stay strong, flex biceps. I feel like this is the best answer. Ignore all cheap shots and efforts to devalue the relationship. Nah, this is ultimately your ring, but I do understand wanting it to stay in the family. That doesn't mean it has to serve as a wedding/engagement ring twice in one generation. It's overall very complicated. The ring belongs to you and you shouldn't be forced or pressured into giving it away. The ring has also been in the family quite a while, so I get that there's a deep connection with it. Maybe it would be possible for you to pass it on later. Maybe for your nieces or nephews, etc. As long as you have a connection to that family, I'd say it's okay for you to keep it. Edit. As this is being misunderstood, I meant to judge the general situation without the very wrong things the in-laws said to original poster. I was going less for an AITA the butthole for saying those things rather than are they the buttholes for wanting the ring. Hope this clarifies it. Also, thank you for the silver, I very much appreciate it. This here is the answer. This comment section is definitely just ignoring the fact that with original poster's wife dying without ever having kids, that family potentially just lost a family heirloom if it isn't given to a niece or nephew. Yes, it was given to her, but with family heirlooms being passed down, there is an understanding that when married, you'll have kids who can receive said heirloom. None of that is original poster's fault, but that doesn't change the reality of the situation. Not the butthole. Do not give them back the ring. It has meaning to you and was one of the last things your late wife gave you. Also, I am so sorry about your loss. It may also be time to cut contact with your in-laws. Original poster replies, I was thinking it might have to come to that. If I decide to keep it, they definitely won't want anything to do with me ever again, which is also really painful because until now I have always felt a part of their family. It's horrible. I was thinking it might have to come to that. If I decide to keep it, they definitely won't want anything to do with me ever again, which is also really painful because until now I have always felt a part of their family. It's horrible. Sorry that you're having to deal with this, it's truly an awful situation. Just a thought, but perhaps an option would be to say that as it was a personal gift from your wife to you, you will keep it. But that since it has more meaning to their family overall, you will return it to you in-laws in your will. If your wife had lived, this ring would have remained with you at least until this point anyway, and it seems more fitting that it return to them for the next generation rather than be repurposed in the same generation. Not the butthole. What kind of bride wants to take a ring off a widow? I'd be really unhappy wearing it, knowing it caused grief elsewhere. Perhaps you can agree to pass it on to one of the family in your will so it comes back? But you should be able to keep this memento with you as long as you wish. Yep, this is the way. Not the butthole. She gave it to you and now it belongs to you. That is how gifts work, especially wedding rings. They have zero right to ask for it back and are huge buttholes for demanding it back like that. I'm so sorry for your loss. Everybody is in butthole. Family heirlooms are weird, but in my opinion should be kept in the family, and allowed to pass down another generation. If there is an unbroken line, it's easier, but where one aunt or uncle does not have a child to pass it on to, it should, at some point, go back to the family line. Now, it is your brother-in-law asking for it, which is the same generation, and I'd think that is a little weird, since it obviously still has meaning for you, especially if you still wear it. I would expect someone in the next generation, i.e. a niece or nephew of your late wife, to be the recipient, and leaving it will to someone in the family to make the decision in the case of your passing. Hess and butthole for asking for it now, but it sounds like you're keeping it from staying in the family line, which is also in butthole move. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.